Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is JourneyNoelus, affectionately known as your personal confidant. Today we're going to dive into the episode of Family and Fiancé with Laci and Vidal. So Laci and Vidal met in 2015 at a college event. She friend-zoned him for 2 years, and then she was drunk at some, I guess, like getaway in Miami, and she decided to hit him up. So then they've been together ever since. So day one, Laci and Vidal arrived to the mansion. So Tracy met them and took them around for a tour of the mansion. And she sat down with them to really kind of get to know them for their first initial session with her. And so she asked Laci what kind of wedding she'd like to have. So Laci was just kind of like over the top with it. She said that she wants 3 dresses. She wants the wedding to take place at a palace or a mansion. And after she went on and on, you can tell like Vidal was just sitting there like kind of cringing, a bit uncomfortable, because this over the top wedding that she just described, I know he's thinking like, wait a minute. Like, I can't. I love her, but she's a bit much. And Tracy was like, oh, so you want an extravagant wedding? And she basically said yes, unapologetically. That's what she wants, and that's what she's going to have, okay? So Tracy asks Laci who was coming on her side. So her mom, Danielle, her dad, Orlando, and her best friend, Sarah. On Vidal's side, who's coming is his mom, Marilyn, his frat brother Justin, and his dad Larry. So Tracy asked them what's the concerns of their loved ones. So Vidal is kind of concerned that, not kind of concerned, he is concerned that Laci's parents won't accept him. And Laci said that her parents are concerned that Vidal may not be able to take care of her. He may not be ready to receive her as his wife. And so those are really the major concerns that the family members have. What's interesting is after Tracy heard Laci's like dream wedding plans, Tracy was like, you don't want, this is not a dream, this is a lifestyle. And I was like, yes, honey. So Vidal's concern is Laci parent does everything for her. So they have such a great influence on her over him. And he feels that in the event that he's probably not able to provide, she's going to go to her parents. And he feels, as a man should, that, you know, that kind of like undermines him. That puts him in an uncomfortable situation as a man. I mean, we can all understand that. But I'm like, have you met her? Like, so Laci says that her mother is her best friend. She does everything for her. And so he's just sitting here and hearing all of this, and he just feels like defeated and deflated that the woman that he loves, he may really not be able to provide for her. I mean, that's really what it is, you know? And it's like a man wants to feel wanted, needed, and desired. And it's like, where have you made room for him in your life? You're talking about all these grandiose ideas, but you're not really saying how you feel about him. So he's watching you and hearing all of this, but it's like, what's my place in your life? Just to provide? Just to give you the things that you want and desire? So, you know, Tracy asked about what kind of things that she would get from her parents. She has not asked Vidal about, you know, Louis Vuitton or Gucci bags. However, yet, she has not asked him yet. It's coming. The mom, Danielle, is concerned that he won't be able to step to the plate and provide. And the dad wants to ensure that his daughter is going to be provided for. On Vidal's side of the family, the mother, Marilyn, wants to make sure that Laci is ready to leave her parents' nest and adapt to the lifestyle with her son. And the father, Larry, wants to really get to know Laci a little bit more. And the frat brother, Justin, feels that he may just be making a premature decision and that he's kind of pressured into making that decision. So he's worried that he's not making an informed decision. So those are basically the concerns of both of the families. So Tracy gave them a task. So Vidal is supposed to talk about his 5-year plans with Laci's family. So Laci was given a reality check task with Vidal's family. And basically, just to like ask her questions about where she's at, what her thoughts are, and then just to like, kind of compare notes to what she's thinking. Doing the reality check task with Laci, the family members asked her what happens in the event that he says no to a credit card. She said, I don't know. Okay. At least she's being honest. She doesn't know. And it's like, it may be a problem. Based on who she is, it would be a problem. And another question that was asked is, when would they start having a family? And Laci said 6 months to maybe a year, but really 6 months. That's what they discussed. And there goes Vidal saying 4 years. But Vidal was just saying 4 years to impress the parents, because he knows that he's not in a position to start a family. He's barely in a position, to really afford the wedding. Now, to start a family, that's on a whole different spectrum. So he knew that it would be irresponsible of him. Well, at least it will be perceived irresponsible, or he's not capable of providing, if he says that, yeah, the part of his 5-year plan is to have a baby within 6 months to a year. So the next scene was they were at the dinner table discussing their tasks with the families. And so it came out that Laci said that they would start children at 6 months to a year. That's what they discussed. And Vidal said 4 years, and they're trying to figure out where's the breakdown in communication. So Vidal lied to the parents, saying that it was 4 years, knowing good and well that they discussed 6 months, maybe a year, but really 6 months. Vidal lying to Laci's side of the family just basically confirmed what Laci's mom was concerned with, already felt that he has on a mask. So she's asking him to take off the mask. She wants to see the real him. She feels like he's being fake. To Vidal's defense, the parents were not so kind and cuddly to him as well. So it's like, he really wants to impress him. He loves Laci, as we can see. So he really wants the acceptance of her parents. So he feels like, in some areas they're probably going to be judgmental and probably going to ostracize him. So he's he's trying to see where he would be able to get in good with the parents and get their acceptance and their blessings to marry their daughter. But the mother is not having it. And I really did not appreciate the mother's attitude. As a young man starting off his life, I can really understand how challenging it can be to not really be where you would like to be to marry somebody's daughter. Laci's mother, she did not have a personable, inviting attitude. Yes, Vidal was wrong for lying, but to his defense, I can actually understand why he kind of fabricated the lie. Meeting Laci's parents, they were defensive. They were not open. They were not receiving. They were not approachable, personable. So why would I feel that I can really come in and just be vulnerable and just be myself and really be honest about the situation? They were not ready to receive him. They have already made up their mind about him. So it's kind of like, with that energy, how can I really be honest with you guys, And Laci's mother, all that attitude, ma'am, why? It's not necessary. It's really not. Calm down. Relax. We're all here to support each other, to support your daughter. Why all of this? Okay, so later on, when Laci had one-on-one with her mother and saying that, you have not even given him a chance. All you do is criticize him. Nothing that he does is right. And, they started getting emotional. And Laci's mom was like, well, I just want to make sure that you have a better life than I had, because when I had you, I actually had to work 2 jobs, had to make ends meet, had to make sure I provide for you. But I'm thinking well, are you Orlando? Is the dad actually your dad? Is Orlando actually your father? Why was she working so hard to provide 2 jobs? So I'm thinking like, okay, maybe he raised her, but I'm not quite sure. That was not, they didn't really dive into that. And so I'm like, okay, so that's a question mark for everyone. But yeah, so they had an emotional moment, and she was just basically telling her that that was her real concerns as to why she felt that Vidal may not have been a good match for her. And then they're young. She really wants them to wait to get to know each other more, which I completely agree. Laci is a lot. Like, she really is. Especially in the beginning when she started talking about her wedding and all which she desires and dream of, which Tracy was like, honey, you want a lifestyle, okay? Listening to Laci describing the type of wedding that she wants and the, just that whole production was like, wow, it's like overwhelming to hear. And like, are you in love with the wedding? Are you in love with the idea of having a wedding? Or are you in love with Vidal? I understand as women we want what we want, but it was just kind of like how she was going, like just kind of like in, and she didn't care how he felt. That's what she wanted, and that's it. Like it was almost not up for discussion. I feel that Laci's parents have been enabling her. They have literally created a monster, and Laci has a lot of growing up to do. We're talking about Vidal providing, but Laci, what do you do? You're saying that you provide for yourself. You don't need your parents. I mean, and your dad is saying like, oh yeah, we gave you an option between getting a car or paying for your wedding. I'm like, oh yeah, that's an option. I mean, let's be real here. Your daughter is not mature. She's not mature. She needs time to grow into herself. They really need to take the mother's advice and really settle down and really think about what they're getting into. Think about the institution of marriage. Why do you want to get married? Like, people are not asking the right questions. Like, it seems like, okay, yeah, we like each other or we love each other. It shows that they love each other, but love is just not enough. Love is not it. As a matter of fact, put love to the side. Let's not even talk about love, because a marriage is real. Relationships are real. Marriage is even more real. It's nothing like you think it's going to be. Absolutely nothing. And the way that she's just kind of carrying on about the type of wedding that she wants, I'm like, girl, you're preparing for a lifestyle and you're not thinking about the institution of a marriage. What kind of marriage do you want? What kind of wife do you want to be? What kind of husband do you want Vidal to be? Are you guys having like really serious conversations? All this like, like this wedding thing, all this wedding talk. It's like, that's not it for me. Let's talk about how immature you guys are. Let's talk about the reality of Laci. Let's talk about the reality of Vidal that really needs to establish himself as a young man before he takes on a wife such as Laci. Yes, you want to be a wife, but hun, that's not where it's all at. What kind of wife? I mean, have you guys discussed like, what kind of family you want? I mean, have you guys really sat down? I don't believe that they have really sat down to really take an introspective look at themselves and really think about what marriage means to them as individuals and what it means to them like together. What does us together look like? So the next time that Tracy sat down with Laci and Vidal, she asks Vidal to have a one-on-one time with the father because they knew that he lied. He knew he lied. He said by lying to them, they're not going to accept you. The very thing that you're trying to get from them by lying, you lost it. So have one-on-one time with him to really have an honest conversation and just really be you. Be honest with him. And so they actually did meet. They spoke, and Orlando, which is Laci's father, was saying that if you don't know something, you can call me. You don't have to fill my shoes. I'm not asking you to fill my shoes. However, I really want to get to know, because I don't even know you. I don't even have like your name associated with your number on my phone. And so they really had a breakthrough. Vidal was saying that he didn't want to disappoint them. And so that's why that he lied. But you know what? Going forward, he's going to be transparent. He's going to be honest. And he actually wants to have a, like, he actually wants their support. So, calling him whenever he needs to or whatever. So they hashed that out. And so everything was great with them. The father was really, really receptive. And I guess that's all he wanted to know, is just kind of like, you know what? You may not be in a position to take care of my daughter. However, let's have an open dialogue about that. Tracy also had Vidal meet with Laci's mother, Danielle. And Danielle basically said that I can spot fakeness. I don't feel like I know the true you. There's a mask up. I really need you to take the mask down. So Vidal explained that he just really wanted to be accepted by them. And she said, yeah, I can understand that, but I also need to know the real you. So after they spoke a little bit, and she was like, okay, well, I see a little potential there. She was still she had her guards up about him, still on the defense. But she was like, okay, coming around, I guess. I'm not sure. But it's like, Danielle, why? All this attitude that you're projecting onto him. During the blessing ceremony, Vidal and Laci went around asking their loved ones, can they have their blessings? And the best friend Justin said yes. Now that he knows that Vidal understand what he's getting himself into, okay, fine. You still want to get married? Then okay, you have my blessings. And the father, Larry, said that, yes, I just really wanted to know that she will be able to adapt and you guys have open communication. So great. And the mother also gave her blessings. Now, when it came to the father, they were kind of like, I don't know. So she started kind of getting a little teary. But the father was like, yeah, he had his concerns, but he gives his blessing. And then, so that was Laci's father, Orlando. So Laci's mom, Danielle, said that she would give her blessing under one condition, that Laci will follow her gut. And if it doesn't feel right, to get out. And she also said in the confessional that she would work on, like she's okay with him now. She will be open, give him grace, and be open to receiving him. From what the episode was given and from my observations, no, the couple does not need to get married. It will just be a complete disaster. Laci seems that she's just in awe with the whole production of a wedding, and she's not thinking about the actual marriage. And Vidal he loves her clearly, and therefore he's willing. He knows that it's too much for him, but he's not saying that he can't do it. He's not being honest. He's not being upfront with her and just being realistic about what it's really going to take to put on this production of a wedding that's supposed to be a marriage. That's not how it works. And everybody's kumbayaing at the end for what? There's nothing to kumbaya about. No, they should actually go ahead, continue dating, and go get counseling, work on themselves. Laci has a lot of growing up to do. And Vidal needs to establish himself, and he needs to be honest with his feelings. It's not fair to Laci that he's not being open with her. So you want to marry someone that you cannot even talk to, you can't be open with, to really let her know how you feel, to let her know what your concerns are? No. You guys have some real work to do. Marriage is not for the selfish. It's not for the insecure. It's not for the self-centered. It's not for anyone that is not willing to work hard every day. Every day you wake up, you have to be dedicated to it. Every single day. Marriage will be the hardest thing anybody will ever have to do. It's so many moving parts. So we're taking two separate individuals' lives and then bringing them together. And it's just supposed to magically just work out, right? Nah, I feel like people are living in an illusion. And if you want to remain ignorant, I guess. But if you really want to be honest with yourself and really step back and start evaluating who you are, what you want, what you desire, and the reality of your relationship, you should take a pause and be like, wait a minute, we're really not in a position to get married. So let's just continue dating, continue learning each other, and continue growing individually and together. And I'm talking about with therapy to work out their stuff. I really feel that Laci's high maintenance nature and the demands is like Vidal won't be able to meet those demands. And it's going to create a problem. So Laci has to be honest with herself as well. I do love this man, but can this man give me what I desire? And marriage is not about him giving you what you desire, honey. It's about much more than that. I was just too through with it. It was just the reality of it all. I mean, you just kind of like look at people, you observe them, you hear them, you evaluate their circumstances, and you're like, wow. And I'm not here to judge by any means. I'm not here to judge. I just know what's ahead. I know what's ahead. They're young. They really need to take their time. Marriage is a huge step, and actually it's not for everyone. Not everyone has the traits to be in a marriage. I mean, they can't even be in a relationship. They can't get that right. How could you get a marriage right? I advise them to really take their time and to speak, to go into therapy at the very least before getting married. But they probably already married because they said that it was going to take place September 2021. And what? We're in, November 2021? So I don't know what their status is. However, I wish them the best. Thank you so much for your time and for listening. Please comment down below. What are your concerns? What are your marital concerns? What are your relationship concerns? Let's start having the dialogue about healthy relationship boundaries and what it really takes to make a relationship work, to make a marriage work. All right, thank you. Until next time.